Well, no matter what way you look at it, the Lakers are definitely in a tough spot, currently in a 3-1 deficit, and even with LeBron, who's come back from the most historic 3-1 deficit in probably playoff history, that's still not a spot they want to be in and definitely don't want to be in it right now. So with that in mind here, if you're completely checked out, think the Lakers are done and simply want to move on to the offseason, we'll talk about a offseason rumor they've been linked to, a hot name they've been linked to, that being Giannis Antetokounmpo. But then for the crowd that's not checked out, wants to learn more about what they've done wrong and how they might be able to fix it, we'll talk about that as well. Going through 3 things that they've been doing wrong and what they might be able to fix to get back in this series. So we'll talk about all of that and break it all down here. But before we get too far into it, let's quickly go over our game day picks for tomorrow night. And if you want to follow along with me via my picks on Underdog Fantasy, then here's what I got going on for tomorrow night. First and foremost, if you're a new signup, you can pick Luka Doncic to have higher than 0.5 points in Game 5. But then for my picks, for pick number 1, I got LeBron having higher than 23.5 points in a do-or-die game, so I think LeBron will show out for that one. Then for my second pick, unfortunately I have Naz Reid having higher than 8.5 points with a discounted pick, dropping down from 11.5 down to 8.5. Then for my third and final pick, I got Jimmy Butler having higher than 18.5 points in a potential closeout game against Houston. So if you want to follow along with me, or make your own picks, then be sure to check out Underdog Fantasy, and don't forget to use code JSM to get your free pick, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make a deposit. But now getting back to our topic, and starting out with Giannis Antetokounmpo and if the Lakers might be able to get him, if it's realistic, worth talking about, and potentially a possibility for their team, or maybe some other team that's not named the Milwaukee Bucks. And well, I guess you could say that's definitely a possibility. Obviously can't rule it out with them currently being down 3-1, likely to be eliminated later tonight in my opinion, and following the Achilles tear of Damian Lillard, very unfortunate and I hate to see that. Their team really doesn't have a clear direction at this point. I mean, looking at their team payroll here, having Damian Lillard under contract until 2027 via a player option that year, Giannis under contract until 2028, and then only Kyle Kuzma and a handful of rookies or young players that don't really play that much. Not really a great team outlook for them. Not having Brook Lopez under contract long term, and not to mention he's supposed to be 38, not having Bobby Portis under contract long term, and pretty much nothing that they can lean on for their future apart from Giannis Antetokounmpo, so they don't have a clear direction. And with that in mind here, I don't think anybody would be shocked to hear Giannis want to leave their team or even outright request to be traded from their team. Again, they really have no future, nothing to build around him, with a hurt Damian Lillard that will very likely miss the entirety of next season, again unfortunately, and nothing really else to pair with him, having a severe lack of draft picks, a severe lack of young talent, and not much money to work with. They pretty much have nothing to pair around him and really no future. So I really do hate to say it, especially for a small market that's done a pretty good job at surrounding him with talent, but it might be time for them to enter a rebuild. And well, if Giannis wants to leave their team, they really won't have a choice. He might demand to be traded, want to either handpick his next team or give them a very short list of where he would want to end up or be traded to. That might be out of their control and they would pretty much have to cave into what he wants. And well, if that would happen or go in a route like that, would the Lakers be an option? Well, I guess they technically could be. They could pull off a trade for him. Definitely would be very complicated, and no, he won't be a free agent. He is under contract potentially until 2028, at the bare minimum at least until 2027. So not the season after this one or the next one, but then the season after that. So quite a bit of time between now and then. I doubt that he'll be a Milwaukee Buck at that time. Likely will have already be traded, so you're probably not going to get him via free agency. You either got to make a trade for him, again if he becomes available and demands a trade, or Milwaukee wants to enter a rebuild. So yes, that technically could be a possibility. The Lakers could form together some kind of trade like combining Austin Reeves, Jared Vanderbilt, either Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, and then Rui Hachimura. Technically yes, that would work via salary. Could combine them to match Giannis through a trade, and then throw in every possible draft asset they have to offer. Obviously Austin being worth a lot through a trade, that being about 2 to 3 first round draft picks kind of in comparison. Then their only tradable first round draft pick they currently have left, the one they'll gain after the NBA draft, which would likely have to be when they would make this trade, if they even could pull off this trade, a few first round draft pick swaps, and then their last second round draft pick or the couple more they get after this draft as well. But even with all that, probably would not be enough to get Giannis Antetokounmpo. Might be close, but then again, a team like Brooklyn or some other team would definitely have more to offer than they do. So it would not be a one-for-one kind of trade here. They alone cannot pull off this trade. Would have to be a complicated 3, 4, even 5 team kind of trade, and even then it's probably not a big time possibility. And don't get me wrong, I'd love to potentially pull it off, make a duo of Luka Doncic and Giannis Antetokounmpo. That would be a ton of fun. Potentially a temporary big three of Giannis, Luka, and LeBron for however long LeBron plays yet. Yes, that would be a ton of fun to watch and definitely could be a championship caliber team depending on who you put around them, which is very difficult in the new CBA. Having 3 max contracts together is very difficult to pull off, as we have seen with a team like the Phoenix Suns. So unless LeBron would take a discount, Luka would sign a new contract with their team, and they get Giannis without having to give up the entirety of their team, which they probably would, it might be difficult for them long term. But I guess technically yes, they could pull it off. They could potentially make a championship caliber team and a great long-term outlook with Luka Doncic and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Is it likely? No, definitely not, but is it impossible? No, also not. We've seen a trade like Luka Doncic happen. This wouldn't be quite to that level, and Rob Pelinka obviously can pull off difficult trades, so I guess we can keep it in the realm of possibility, albeit not a very likely one. And with that being said, now back to this season and how the Lakers can keep their season alive apart from tomorrow night. And if they hope to do it, they definitely have to correct a few of their bigger problems, which up until this point have been number 1, fourth quarter execution, number 2, turnovers, and number 3, their bench unit, a combination of not trusting them enough and not getting enough from them. So beginning with number 1, and definitely their biggest problem in my opinion, fourth quarter execution. Up until this point, they have been a negative 39 in the fourth quarter through 4 games now, an average of negative 9 per game in the fourth quarter, and yes, that is in fact the worst of any playoff team, either playoff teams that are alive or currently eliminated, even worse than the Miami Heat who just got swept and beat by 50 points last night. So yeah, obviously not too good, currently having a negative 42.9 net rating in the fourth quarter, and simply put, you're not going to win a game playing like that. So they have a lot to clean up here, both from a team standpoint, both from an individual standpoint regarding all 3 of Luka, LeBron, and Austin, and from a coaching standpoint too. So do they have the ability to do it? Well, normally for a team with those kind of stats and how they have looked during the fourth quarter, I would say no. But for a team with both Luka Doncic and LeBron James, there's definitely a chance for them. Up until this point, they literally cannot play worse. LeBron averaging 5.3 points per game during the fourth quarter on 35% from the field and 33% from 3, and not to mention about 2 turnovers per game during the fourth quarter. That cannot get a whole lot worse for him. Or then for Luka Doncic averaging only 5 fourth quarter points per game on 29.4% from the field and 16.7% 3-point shooting, also cannot get much worse for him. Or even for Austin Reeves, averaging only 2.8 fourth quarter points per game on 31% from the field and 20% from 3. So yeah, between all 3 of them, offensively at least, have been playing terrible during the fourth quarter, and for 2 of them, not so good on defense during the fourth quarter either. Apart from LeBron, who has played good on defense during the fourth quarter, especially during Game 4, not much to get from them during the fourth quarter, and it really can't be much worse for them. So with a more locked-in LeBron, with a healthier LeBron at this point, with a more locked-in Luka, and at the point of being eliminated, I think we'll get more from them during the fourth quarter. And well, between better production from those 2, hopefully all 3 of them actually, including Austin Reeves, better coaching and better adjustments by JJ Redick, which also cannot be much worse during the fourth quarter, they definitely could improve their margin for error here and could potentially come back in this series. But apart from that, and for another problem after that, would have to be turnovers. Up until this point, averaging 14.5 turnovers per game, the 5th worst of any playoff team up until this point, and then on top of that, going back to their fourth quarter issues, averaging about 4 turnovers per game in the fourth quarter alone. So simply put, can't be giving the ball away that much, and definitely not that much in crunch time. Clean that up and be more efficient with the ball, both from a taking care of the ball standpoint and a shooting standpoint like we talked about before, and they definitely could be a much better and efficient team. I mean, comparatively to them, the Wolves are averaging only 10.8 turnovers per game, which might not sound like much, but a 4 turnover per game differential is a gigantic amount during the postseason, and that definitely can make the difference between winning or losing a playoff game, which we have seen during this playoff series. And then on top of that, to make it worse, the Wolves score 19.5 points per game off the Lakers' turnovers so far, compared to the Lakers averaging only 10.5 points per game off Minnesota's turnovers. So once again, definitely a big difference, not only in regard to turnovers, but then taking advantage of the turnovers. If they can clean it up, lowering their turnovers, increasing the Wolves' turnovers, or preventing them from scoring off their own turnovers, that could make the difference and lead to them winning 1 more game, 2 more, or potentially 3 of them. But then for their final issue and what they have to clean up, that would have to be the combination of not getting enough and not trusting their supporting cast enough. Starting with not getting enough from them, only averaging about 12.8 points per game from their bench unit so far, the second worst of any playoff team, and then on top of it, have not shot the ball well even in their limited opportunities, only shooting 34% from the field and 30% from beyond the arc. So again, you can't have a combination of low scoring output and poor shooting to go with it, which has definitely and unfortunately been the case with their bench unit. Or then on top of that, really haven't made a difference on defense to make up for it, haven't been disruptive on defense, averaging only 1 steal per game for their entire bench unit, the lowest of any playoff bench unit, and even with limited playing time, their bench does commit 7.5 fouls per game, the 5th worst of any playoff team. So between all that, gotta either improve their scoring output, their shooting output, their defensive output, being more disruptive, or more disciplined and committing fewer fouls on defense. Gotta clean up something here. Either the offense or the defense, hopefully both, but gotta do something better in Game 5 and beyond. But then for the other part of this, that would have to be JJ Redick and simply not trusting their bench unit. He showed that in Game 4, now playing the entirety of their bench during the second half, the first time in NBA history that has ever been done, and probably for good reason too. First of all, their starting unit got incredibly tired during the fourth quarter, contributing to their poor fourth quarter execution, both offensively, defensively, and simply with the way they looked on the court. They definitely could have benefited from more bench unit play, whether it be simply one guy for a few minutes or 2 or 3 of them. That should have been something they did and something that Redick did not do. So going back to that, showing a lack of trust in them, maybe lowering their confidence and contributing to their poor offensive output, that's a combination of both them and JJ Redick, which definitely does have to change if they hope to win Game 5 or beyond that point. But with all of that being said, what do you guys think? What do you think are the Lakers' current biggest issues and potentially how to fix them if they can fix them? And then how do you feel about Giannis Antetokounmpo potentially being a trade target for their team or simply leaving the Milwaukee Bucks in general? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But I think that'll pretty much do it for this one, and if you enjoyed the video, then I'll greatly appreciate it if you dropped a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell to never miss out when I upload a video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day or night.